there, banditos. Welcome to another episode of the Dollar Bin Bandits and another episode in a Mike on the Mic week. We have a big one for you today. It is supersized because there is a supergroup, just like the bands in the music industry that come together from different places. We have the artists, the writers, Jimmy Palmiotti, Amanda Connor, Brian Pulido, and Billy Tucci, all of whom have come together like Voltron to bring you a new project on Kickstarter called the Deadly Trio, Doomsayer, because we are hoping that there may be more Deadly Trio. Anyway, as I said, this is a humongous collection of talent. We get into where they met, when they met. I think they've been all friends for around 30 years, and this provided an amazing opportunity for them to get together, create something new, and hopefully something that is going to continue on and on. It's on Kickstarter now. Go check it out. And now we will talk to Billy Tucci, Amanda Connor, Jimmy Palmiotti, and Brian Pulido. Today we are joined by a super group of creative comic talent. We have Jimmy Palmiotti, Amanda Connor, Brian Pulido, and you never know, hopefully Billy Tucci will be showing up. How is everybody doing tonight?
Great.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Feels like the Tuesday before Thanksgiving.
It does.
That's right.
Yeah,
It
man.
does. It's kind of
Weirdly.
quiet out there right now. Like people are inside, like making stuff for the day after tomorrow. They're like cooking already.
Yeah. It definitely feels very preparatory, like things are
Yes.
about to happen, but they
Yes.
haven't yet.
Exactly.
Well, speaking of which, the new project out on Kickstarter, which is happening, but also about to happen and about to be fulfilled, the Deadly Trio. Thank you, Brian, for showing the book.
Oh yeah.
This is, and there, Jimmy, there you
And
go.
one too. Yeah, we
Got it
have
too.
the
Amanda cover. That's a great
Awesome. Well, this is so amazing. As I said, it brings together all of you guys on the screen and Billy Tucci as writers, in putting together this new book with brand new characters and new storyline. And so I guess the natural first question is, how the heck did this all come together?
Brian, you want to go grab that?
I think it's you, man.
Okay, all right.
Well, I mean, let me just say
Okay,
one thing.
Go ahead.
I cannot believe we did not do this sooner.
Yeah, that's the truth.
As long as we've known each other, how did
It's
this
true.
not happen sooner?
Yeah, I mean, we all met around, I'd say 94, I guess. Brian,
Dude, I think we met in '92. You guys
92.
came out, you, Jimmy, it came out with Joe to this, I don't know, so the Sequoia Athletic Club, where there was a little mini con in Southern California. And I think
yeah.
that's where we first met.
Oh yeah, man. I remember that small show. I remember that, and
Yeah, you guys were doing Sword of Ezreal.
yeah, I just got a ping from Billy asking, do I have the link? Now I'm looking at
boy.
the link, and it
Oh,
literally
man.
has his name on it. It's right there. I'm gonna send it again. He just doesn't. Yes. Do I have a link? Yes. I'm gonna just write yes, as do you,
Yeah, the link that was emailed to you.
in your email.
Yeah, I
think
tried it twice.
Yeah, I sent it to him anyway. But we were all like starting in putting our comics out. I mean, Brian had A Lady Death, Billy had She, and we were doing in the 93, 94 area, we were doing Ash and Painkiller Jane.
Yeah.
We were all doing our own thing, and we were all hanging out, comparing notes, trying to figure out, navigate, like, how do you do this, and how are we going to do this? And I remember one time, which you'll get a kick out of, Mike, is we actually shared a big booth in San Diego. We put like all our three companies together, and it didn't go well for the con, right? It went well for us because we had 1 billion people there, but the con kept complaining to us that we had it was too much noise and too much chaos. But the joke was that we had right across from us was Big Entertainment, making just as much noise, but obviously they paid more for the booth, and they were throwing T-shirts into the middle of the room, and people were running for the t-shirts like they were $1,000 bills. They're just killing each other to get to these things. And we're just sitting there watching, like, what is up with that? I mean, and I do make this comparison. When they launched, they had like a couple of $1 million behind them. And when we launched, I think we had each like 65 grand was our big launch thing. And who's still publishing now, by the way? So
I would see companies like that or Techno Comics and all that stuff, and I just walk by and I go, "Dead man walking."
yeah,
He's
yeah.
walking.
Here's Billy. Billy just joined us.
I apologize.
We were talking about how we all first met, and as Amanda pointed out, how did we not do something like this so much earlier than we did? But but we did. I will say I actually worked for both Billy and for Brian at one point. Doing some writing and also doing some inking for Brian, and then doing some inking. And Amanda doing penciling for for both companies.
Yeah, I worked for both of you guys too. I did Tomoe for Billy, and I did I remember my first job for you, Brian, was a Lady Death triptych card.
So beautiful. We finally brought that
Thank
to
you.
life last year as a cover. And then you both worked on Chastity Reimagined,
That's
which I
right.
was just looking
Yes.
at recently.
Yeah.
Yes.
Chastity was it was a nice book, and then I got to ink a Bernie Wrightson werewolf story in one of your
Awesome.
Yep.
one of the books you did, and Billy, I helped him out on She at one point, and
Yeah,
then
a lot.
and then we did Tomoe, 3 issues
Yeah.
of that, and so we've been working together for a long time, but this is our first project where we actually said, okay, let's all each come up with we came up with a basic idea, and then we said we'll each come up with a separate character, and then we'll kind of meld them all into this big story, and so yeah, so it's it's a little late, but we're still alive, so we're happy that it
Save
got
the
done.
best for last.
That's
I
it.
think that Jimmy and Amanda are being a little modest. So they created the world that our characters are playing in. They created the phenomenal super villain our characters oppose. And they came up with what is arguably going to be one of the best cliffhangers in comics in the last 10 years. That cliffhanger, laying all that out for us, made it so easy to contribute to the whole of what we were doing. So let's not get it twisted.
I mean, that's really sweet, but in our brain, we're just like, this is like, okay, that's like a Brian part, and that's like a Billy part, like
Yeah.
in a way, and then you guys came in with the characters, obviously, Rian Rian and Garga, you guys bringing in the characters. It's just it's a really interesting book, I think, for anybody that loves comics and loves the creators. That there's a certain level of fan that actually knows all the creators behind the books, and this one is. I definitely think when you read it, you could see all the personalities in there. Yet they all kind of work together, and it's that was kind of the fun of the book, is because it doesn't feel like it's one voice. It does feel like it's a group of voices, which is kind of nice, I think.
Yeah, each character reflects the tone. It's a different tone. It's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
how-
Billy's stuck in the 80s. That's why his character's name Rian, because it's like Duran Duran.
That's exactly what it's from.
Yeah.
But also, from the Barbarella film.
Right.
I like the the character Duran Duran. I like that world. I kind of envision it to look like that sort of like a kaleidoscope, a lot of colors and all, and that's like my character. She's, as I stated, she's almost like a living mood ring, where she literally wears her heart on her sleeve, and her character changes colors and all, depending upon her emotions and her mood and stuff. And so I don't know, I thought it was kind of fun that she's, color changes, and, there's no hiding who she is, kind of sort of like me.
Yeah, Billy does change colors when he's pissed and when he's happy.
Yeah, I do. I
Same
change
shade of
colors.
red, though. I don't know why, but it's the same shade of red on both sides.
No, it depends how much. I usually, my face gets a lot redder the more I hang out with you guys from drinking. No, I should say.
For my part,
So
when I
sorry.
read the characters that Amanda and Jimmy created, Dorian and Rondo, I thought that what I should do is contrast those characters so that when the characters get together, there's a natural conflict. So my character in her human form is the leader of a cult in a strange planet way out in the galaxy. But when she needs to, she transforms into a gargoyle-like character who's probably led a bit by her anger. She'll probably be like, let's say in comic terms, more Hulk-like in a sense, where she's going to lead with anger and then figure things out later. And I thought with Jimmy and Amanda's character is a little more thoughtful, a little more strategic. It just provide a fun contrast. That's where I was coming
Yeah.
from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great. Yeah.
Yeah, and I kind of I feel like I'm sort of in the middle because again, my character like her like enthusiasm, her fears, her rage, her content is contagious in a way, and Dorian can feel that and actually kind of falls for that a little bit at the beginning before catastrophe.
Yeah. Mike, the basic story is that our main bad guy, Calissa Gore, is kind of going through the galaxy on this mission,
Chewing through the galaxy.
chewing through the
Yeah,
galaxy,
good.
destroying worlds. So when we open up the book, you see you see Dorian and Rondo, which are the characters Amanda and I created. They're pretty much been through it all. We're joining them mid journey, and they're trying to warn the next group of people what's coming. So it builds from there, and it's a big science fiction epic. There's nothing small about this book, and then having Adrianna Melo doing the artwork is we just got really lucky with her stuff, and then Giuliano.
And then she was available. We were like, yes.
Yeah, we did catch her between like Power Girl and another book. I was like, you don't want to do Power Girl, you want to do this. This is Power Girl, man. Come on. And then we have a Giuliano Peratelli. Is that it? Peratelli, yeah. Colored her work like she's just never looked better, And then we topped it off with, of course, Marshall Dillon doing some stunning lettering on it, and we're really proud, Mike. We're really proud of this book because it could have gone 100 ways, sideways, and it actually came together, and it's just beautiful. We're all really proud of it.
I would say too, during the editing process, the lettering. Yeah. I mean, I saw Amanda and Jackie Shearer, our proofreader, like fighting tooth and nail for just every comma and semicolon just being properly in place. And it was, that just shows you the passion, or Amanda also too, we went through various drafts, but every time Amanda brought up something, it was relevant. She'll, sort of like wake up and say, but then we got it, blah, blah, and there's this piece. And of course she was right. And, we just like put the cherry on the cake at the end, I think.
It's exhausting that Amanda's right all the time for somebody like me. It's completely exhausting all the time. It's like I'm like, yeah, you're right, but you can't argue it.
Nope, that's true.
It's like a school teacher that knows so much more than you.
Definitely, yeah. It's definitely our not so secret weapon. Like one of the preeminent sequential illustrators of the last 30 years is on our team, so that doesn't hurt.
There you go.
Heck yes.
That sounds helpful. I'd love to know, and you talked about this already in various aspects, but how this all kind of worked, right? I'm used to asking about co-writers when there are usually two.
Sure.
There are four on this project. What was the process like in terms of actually writing the book? Did you guys just write your own characters? Did one of you set up the scene? One of you do dialogue? How did that all work?
Yeah, I mean, so we initially all talked about what we were looking for to do in the book. So we had these initial conversations of, we want to do something epic. We want to make these sexy characters. We want to make sure we have this. So we kind of had a checklist of everything we needed to get done. And then I'm like pretty good at that wrangling part. So I kind of wrangled the story together and literally did an outline script that literally said like page 6 through 11. Billy, this is your part to do this.
Yeah.
And then, page 18 to 25, Brian, if you can this is what we need to happen here. And just to get make sure everybody was involved, and but I worked out with Amanda. We worked out like a skeleton of a script, so we could say, okay, here's what's going on in these pages, and here's what we need from each partner. And then when that's all in there, I kind of just like mushed it together. And then Amanda, of course, was over my shoulder correcting everything I did. And and then each person got another turn to go back in and work on the script some more to make it kind of to access to see what everybody else did. So we did have a lot of drafts of the script until we gave it to Adrianna. But once we did give it to her, she was able to run with it after that. We just wanted to make sure, like any kind of partnership, we want to make sure everybody's voice was there, and that means that 4 people have to have absolutely zero ego.
Yeah.
And only care about the final product, and that was pretty much all of us. You know,
I had a blast because these guys set the scene, and I kind of knew where, and these guys didn't know where I would take my part.
right?
And that's kind of fun. Now, I must admit that, I love the character Commandy, and Jimmy worked on Commandy Challenge.
Yes.
And I was like professionally jealous of that. And not from this perspective of working on a story where at the end your part is done and you toss it to the next person and they run with it. I just think that is just such a delicious thing to do. So in our story, we get to do our version of that. And that was so much fun because these guys wouldn't know what I would do with the piece that I got to do. And then, similarly with Billy, it's like, he doesn't quite know, I'm going to try to move all the characters forward as intended, but my character is going to start throwing some curves that hopefully would pay off for the audience later. So that part was so much fun. And guys, I was really thinking about Commandy Challenge the whole time.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, that was a fun book. I was kind of bummed because when I wrote that, I was like, the next person killed one of the characters I created, and I was like, damn. I was hoping she would make it through like a couple of more issues, but that seemed like it seemed like every writer after the next one got meaner and meaner towards what was done before.
Yeah,
And,
that's true.
and I was actually, I think I ended my story with a gigantic tiger that was like
A giant jaguar.
giant jaguar that wore a necklace full of airplanes and
tanks, like all this
tanks.
military equipment.
Yeah, I mean we
As
were
a
all
necklace.
But I mean, you're 100% correct though. This is like that in a way, except we all get to see what it is. Because with the Commandy Challenge, I had no idea until the books came out what the next one was.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Thank God we didn't have that.
Yes.
It was also, I feel, the smoothest collaboration that I've ever worked on. Especially if you have 4 different creators, writing their own parts and come up with their characters. It was real smooth, and like Jimmy's like, that doesn't make any sense, Billy. Can you explain this? I don't know what the hell that means. Like, I'm like, oh, all right, I'm sorry.
That is very me.
She's a pilot, my character. She's like a
I
pilot.
don't like the waste words.
So I throw I throw these terms like, because I love military history and all, so I'm using these words that that nobody knows it unless you're a geek like me, like a fighter pilot. Jimmy's like, no one's gonna understand that. Just can you?
Adrianna was writing me. Adrianna's like, what does that mean? And I'm like, you know what, Adrianna? I have no idea.
I don't know.
I have no idea. So I'll find out though. Yeah.
Yeah. Apologies.
So it sounds somewhat improvisational, right? Like but there had to be kind of like a through line. Was the thing that tied it all together the villain? Because it sounds like rather than the heroes, it almost started out with the villain, Calissa Gore, right?
Yeah, Calissa. I mean, so in all the great stories, right? The book is only as good as the villain sometimes.
That's right.
And with this villain, I felt like her motivation, her motivation is so wrong and it's so messed up.
It's so awesome.
She literally. So we're talking about a people that believe that there's a God, the God that they believe in, and the only way to get an audience with this God is to prove that you are the last survivor of that race. So her goal is to wipe out everything in the universe so she can have a one-on-one with her God.
I
And
love it.
it's so twisted, but it's also a great motivation for a villain. And so you need that to kind of string the heroes, because the heroes do not have they're honestly, they're on the run. They're trying to stay alive on some
Yeah.
level because they're so overwhelmed what's happening. And of course, like any tragedy, after I look at hurricanes or 9/11, people are dealing with something way beyond what they can handle. And that's when the neighbors get together, and all of a sudden people seem very closer, and
Yeah.
people tend to work together after something like that. And that's the way I was looking at this. Is like, this is beyond them, but these are people that have the same goal. They want to survive and they want to save others. And it made sense for these characters. Of course, Garga has a lot more involved with the villain, which we learn in the books. But they have this common goal that they want to hit, but at the same time, they're trying to save the other people that are in the circumstance that they got stuck in.
Yeah.
So
Garga's a cool bridge too, because she bridges Callista's world and your world, Jimmy, too. Like,
right.
she's a bridge that she has this connection, so it leads to more future stories, past stories. They have a history, which is really cool.
Yeah,
And
I think
I don't know if
Dorian.
Did Dorian know that they had a history?
No,
Yeah, so that's
no.
cool right there, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, Rondo had, but it's interesting because for me as like a science fiction lover, it always amazes me the lack of in film and TV, the lack of, we have all this CGI, with all this crazy stuff. Why is everything the same 3 or 4 different planets? And why is everything have to be Star Wars related or no other sci-fi? It drives me crazy, and I'm always full of hope when I see an Interstellar.
Yeah.
I'm always full of hope. And I feel like with this book, it is a book about hope, and it is a book about fighting evil. But at the same time, and especially the way Brian writes, it's like when the evil's happening, it's got another level of heavy metal to it.
Yeah, it's pretty
You
funny.
don't necessarily want to kick the evil out of the room so much because you're enjoying the riff that's going on. So the book has a lot to it. And like I said, the Kickstarter is live now, so we're starting to get a little feedback, and we're trying to just get new people to try it. It's really tough to get people to try something new, Mike. You know that. It's very
Of
hard.
course.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a crowded marketplace, not only with the mainstream titles, but even on Kickstarter now. I think
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, there could be up to 300 plus books at once, and we're not only competing in the Kickstarter space. We're competing for people's attention as they're getting ready for the holidays, as they're going through the trials and tribulations of life and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, and then dealing with multi-million-dollar companies doing Kickstarters because they feel it's a good money grab.
Right.
And that hurts us too, because every time they're like, triple dipping, they're kind of like grabbing money. And so it's really tough when we're fighting. And that is why, though, because Brian is running this campaign, you could literally buy this book for $5 on digital, $5.
Yeah.
And it's and the actual book you can get for 20, 25, depends what cover you go for.
$20. Yeah, it's very
$20.
affordable. And free
Right.
shipping. US
And it's
shipping.
free shipping. So we tried to kind of make it so it's not going to be the thing that bankrupts anybody. I had a guy today, and this is funny. I had a guy today tell me, I would back it in a second, but I don't like Kickstarter because this happened to me. So I'm not going to back it. And I said to him, I said, so you don't want to give money to Kickstarter? He said, yeah. I said, okay, you back it, and I'll give you the 5% back. So Kickstarter doesn't get anything. And then he says, well, I don't really have any money now. So it's like, no matter what you do, you kind of have to listen to that kind of stuff. And I get it, but we tried to make this thing cheap as we could,
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I'm sorry, Brian. It's one of the most affordable projects out there right now on Kickstarter, because we have over 1,000 backers in 5 days. That's pretty freaking great. I mean, Jeff Smith launched today, and he has half of that. But he's got the deluxe bone edition that's out.
That's
And
awesome.
he was over, geez, over 150 grand or something like that.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
awesome.
well, you know,
Because it's an expensive book though, too. It's a
Yes,
very
yes.
expensive deluxe hardcover, museum type edition book.
well, I think we want both, right? We want to have the most people we can, and we also want to make as much money as we can because we want to do another one and another one,
Right.
you know. So that kind of these things pay for each other. But I will say Brian created some of these levels that are fantastic, and there's some beautiful books and foil books. Like it really does take care of the person who wants to read it, and then it takes care of the person that's a collector. Because I have to say, Mike, I'm guilty of both. I'm a bit of a collector as well. You know, I collect comics.
Sure.
I go for stuff, and then I also like to read them at the same time. But I am one of those crazy people that has CGC books, and I have all
Me
this.
too.
You know, yeah.
Big
I'm
time.
like, I want that foil cover. You know, I will pay a little extra for it, and you know, that not everybody's the same, so that's why we made it pretty damn affordable for everybody.
Well, yeah, here's some other sheer facts about our campaign. This entire project is done. All we have to do is print. Every physical reward we're offering, a digital copy goes with it. All the free bonus items that we're unlocking, and we've unlocked quite a few so far, and free US shipping to all US folk. So it's reasonably priced, I would say. If you would imagine the raw cost of the shipping and handling, $6-7 a unit, perhaps, for the main Premier Edition, and we're only asking for $20 all in. So yeah, I think it's reasonable. And again, it's done. All we're gonna do is print, and it'll come to people right in the new year.
Yeah.
And
That's
did
so
all that
great. So
calculus
great.
go into the what format it's coming in terms of it being sort of I guess an oversized first issue?
Well, it's going to be a 32-page saddle stitch, which means stapled. It looks an awful lot like that right there. And so it's 26 pages of story and art. We do have chapter breaks, and in the back we have some cool character designs that were put together by Amanda, by Billy, and Richard Ortiz, who does helped me design Garga. So it's packed.
That's great. Actually, that segues right into the next question, which was about the art. And I know there are artists among the writers. And I wanted to know, yeah, if that you guys designed the characters or the look of the world, and how much input you had versus or in collaboration with Adrianna on the look of the book.
Well, each writer either designed or worked with, or worked on the design of their own character. And for me personally, I designed a character that I thought would be fun to draw over and over again. I sort of like that. I love that 1960s space girl sort of vibe, and that's what I wanted Dorian to have. So that's how I designed her, and I know Billy designed Rian, and yeah, tell us about it, Billy.
Patrick Nagel inspired, I think.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, Patrick Nagel inspired with a little bit of Barbarella thrown in.
Yeah.
That's when I first drew her. I had that because she was supposed to she was white at first, and I'm like, oh, let me start adding color to her. And very Patrick Nagel's inspired. Yeah, with her that black hair. Like if you look at her, you would imagine Patrick Nagel drawing her. Same thing with the eye color, all that, and then just bring that color into that ghostly white or that pure white, devoid of any emotion, but she's filled with emotion, and it was great. It was just fun. She's very sleek, and she's not very voluptuous. I guess she's more like a dancer's body. I would assume. And she's like I said, she's a pilot. She's a bit of a hothead. And but we'll explore more into that's her arc, is to learn to control those emotions and to keep things in check now, because there's so much more bigger at stake than her at what's coming next. And with if I could, I don't know, can I say with the destruction? Yeah, I'm not gonna say it. Cataclysmic circumstances forces her to sort of adapt and to change, but she still goes at it. And Ben Caldwell did amazing variant cover. I love them all, but there's something about his where Garga and Rian are actually battling it out, and it is freaking phenomenal. I'm like, oh my god, that is so great, and it's
Yeah, I
the
can
only
show it to you.
wraparound cover too.
Yeah,
See
Billy.
if I
It's
get
actually the
this
one
thing
I
to-
pledged for. I pledged for two.
Yeah, Brian's got it up there.
I
Yeah.
think hit that
Wow.
one and and Joe Linzer's cover. No, Dan Lawless's cover. I did. Look at that, just striking. So it's good. It's a lot of fun. In this book though too, you're not gonna have page after page like so many mainstream comics today of people sitting around talking. It's just action.
It's
Like
action.
it's just
Wall to wall.
action,
I
action.
think we all
action,
grew up
death,
on
destruction,
70s
fighting.
comics where it was like 1 or 2 issues. Let's go. Let's get this thing done. Let's have some action, action, action. Now I'm going to
Yep.
go back to the character question. In my case, although a writer, I actually have created all the characters I am known for and drew them. And I draw them like crazy chicken scratch, whether it's Evil Ernie, Lady Death, Purgatory, the new ones, La Muerta, Hell Witch, or Garga. I'll do the initial drawings. And they are primitive. But what I know is this is I will draw until I hit a certain simplicity. And I'll know it. And then I'll know that I just in my heart know it connects. And it takes a little while to get there sometimes. But and then, I have different collaborators, and a guy, Richard Ortiz, actually rendered, my chicken scratch into an actual character design with turnarounds. And that's something that he and I have done together for close to 20 years now. But yeah, I'm intimately involved because I think I love comic books where generally the name of the comic book is the character, not a situation. And that the design of the character, I believe, in part, could really just call out to people and really connect with people. So I think, but hitting this proper simplicity is an art, and it takes a while to get there.
Yeah, Brian, I did not know that you did the preliminary designs on all of your characters. And I'm hoping that you saved all of your chicken scratches because I would love to see them one day.
They are very chicken scratchy. Yeah, I definitely have them. Here's another crazy thing. And it's true. I actually did all of Stephen Hughes' layouts for for everything we ever did together, because he didn't want to. He just didn't want to bother with it.
Really? Do you have that, Brian? Like, could you?
Yeah, I kept everything. Oh, dude, I kept
Could you
everything.
do a 30th anniversary rough cut edition of Lady Death number? I'm just saying, just like
I don't like that.
Yes.
I take that
Brian
under
looks
your
forward.
advisement.
Brian looks forward. Brian looks forward, not back. I know that
Yeah, but I
about
do
you.
have those. It's funny. I do have these drawings, and I have them on display up at our place. And when people come around who are aspiring, you meet these young aspiring creators, and they're so worried about their own quality. And I look at them, I'm like, look, I have a career. Look at all these funny drawings I did. Like, these are patently terrible, but you could see where everything's supposed to go and how, when it's replicated, how it would really work. But yeah, for sure. I've always done that. And
That's
the drawings
cool.
are embarrassing, but they do get the point across.
Brian, how did you and Stephen come to working together?
See if I could tell that story quickly, because it's a fun story. I wrote a screenplay for Evil Ernie, got it to the producers of the movie Hellraiser. They said they wanted to make it. They offered me $40,000 to write and direct it. Maybe I should have done it, but I read the fine print and they said I wouldn't own it. So I said no. I'm a penniless post-college guy saying no. I don't know how things would turn out if I said yes, but who knows? So I decided that the best way to bring it to life is to go back to the thing that I love the most, comics. So I placed an ad in the Comics Buyer's Guide advertising for an artist. I got about 70 responses. Out of the 70, I tried 11 out. Out of the 11, for whatever reason, it didn't work out, whether it was their professionalism or their lack of talent on the page. So I gave up. About 2 weeks later, I get a submission. And that submission was from an inker who was inking Hughes. And I have no idea, guys, how I knew this, but I knew that inker wasn't talented, but I knew that penciler was. So I got in touch with him and hired him. Something weird happened with the inker where he said, F this Brian guy, let's just make our own thing. But you said, no, I want to meet this guy. So I drove up to Boston from New Jersey to meet Hughes. And when we met, it was kismet. We had a palpable chemistry. And there was a feeling where when we got together, suddenly like a fuse was lit and we were all about like, let's go up against the world. So that's the story of how I met Hughes. And we worked together for 9 years until he unfortunately passed. And it was a great time. As you guys all know, you were all there. We dared to tell everybody to go F themselves or get out of our way, get out of line. We would be at Chicago Comic-Con with this crazy half-mile line, and some mucky muck from Marvel Comics would come over and say, well, you got to wrap that line around and blah, 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 blah. And I say, tell you what, man, when you have a line like mine, you could tell me what to do. Until then, go on, get on back, son.
Nice.
Awesome. Well, count me in for the chicken scratch edition when that comes out on Kickstarter.
It should be called.
And you should call it that. But you made reference to, you have a number of variant cover artists on this.
Yeah.
Could one or many of you go over some of the folks that are doing the covers?
We each got to pick a couple of artists. So Brian, you could start since you got the book in your hand there.
Well, okay, I'm just going through them. They have an art. And I'm sorry, I got this camera's on some wackadoodle focus, but here's the first one I have is our main edition, the premiere, which is by Adrianna Melo. And it's true, each one of our studios were responsible for bringing in 4 covers. So Billy did a softball and got himself. So we got the beautiful Billy Tucci edition, the People's Champion, the Teen Sensation.
Teen Sensation, indeed.
Now, Paper Films might have done a softball, but it was a major one. Got in the one and only Amanda Connor.
Awesome.
Again, sorry for the crazy focus thing. And here's another great Paper Films cover by Chad Harden. Oh, come on.
He's our Harley Quinn guy, Chad. It's amazing.
Yeah, he worked with us on.
Yeah, it's a terrible focus.
I know. I wish
You have them. You have them, right? I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
Focus.
Yeah, you can put it by your face, I think. Put it in front of your face because that seems where.
Okay, so here, Joseph Linsner.
There you go.
Oh,
There you go.
It's working.
It's working.
Yep,
The
that looks
magic of
great.
Joseph Lindner.
Yeah, Joe, man. That's right, Joe.
That was awesome. We brought in the Lady Death artist, Diego Bernard.
Yeah, beautiful.
Nice.
And there's Calissa Gore, our supervillain.
Yeah, she's bad.
Then also we have another contributor from Coffin. This is Joel Gomez. He's been the artist on our series La Muerta for 10 years.
Wow.
And then we brought in also a great good girl artist, Jose. Come on, focus. Jose Varice.
There you go. Yeah, there's a little reflection on that.
Yeah.
Good looking.
There it is. And then Crusade brought in Dan Lawless.
Yeah.
Pretty.
Nice.
Yep, beautiful.
Etc. Etc. We also have Leandro Oliveira. Is that correct?
Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
We have, and then rounding out Crusade's contribution is Eve Souza.
Beautiful. And behind you is Adriana's cover, right?
Yep, that's Adrianna
Yeah.
Melo, who behind Jimmy and Amanda as well.
Yeah.
And that's colored by our series colorist, Giuliano Peratelli, who's really off the charts talented. In fact, I mean, that was one of our early collaborations with Giuliano, and we just had to snap him up for a bunch of books because this stuff is just so hot.
So let's talk about a little bit about the future without giving away or spoiling anything. This is a #1 issue, which makes me think about there will be #2s and #3s. Where is this headed? Are we thinking this is with the success, obviously, of the Kickstarter, this is a mini series? This is a possible ongoing series? What's the plan?
Well, the plan is to, the best case scenario, we would love this Kickstarter to get a lot more readers because we need more readers. We need more people buying it. And we're definitely down for issue 2 and 3 at least. I mean, we know where it's going, and it gets we sort of like did the Poseidon Adventure part where we got to know everybody on the boat.
Right.
And then the wave hits it. and that's where we are with this right now. The wave is hitting everything,
Yeah.
but we have so much story to tell after that. So I see this going for a while. I'm hoping all of us are still alive and we can nail this book and keep doing it. You know, dream scenario is we keep doing one at least one a year, and we keep this story going and we build the audience as we go. You know, because a lot of times the first book's always the hardest, but sometimes you do a second one and people just, you know, we offer the first one, of course, again, and we hope people catch on. So we just got to get it. We got to get it because we're offering a lot of things. You know, it's funny, we set a goal on the Kickstarter, but the reality is the goal needs to be much higher for us because there's a lot of wheels in motion here, and we did pay everybody. Like everybody got paid for their work. So
Already, Brian's been,
we took on a lot of responsibility with this. But all of us feel we're on the same page. We talk about this and when we're not when we're together, is that we see this going on for a while because we have every character has backstories that need to be told, and then we need to move the story ahead that's going on. And you know, when you're dealing with science fiction, anything can happen. It was just I love science fiction for that. Just when you think you know everything about this story, something from left field happens, and all of a sudden the book is going somewhere else. And that's my favorite thing. I do not like predictable comics. I don't read Batman because it's the same story over and over. I don't read a lot of mainstream because they just keep retelling the same thing over and over and over. And I guess because I'm an old guy, I'm just like, I read all this already. And I'm always looking for something new. And I think this is the new project we all just want to keep together, keep getting together on and bring in other talent and other, you know, people to work on it and build up the universe. That's our dream.
That's right.
Nice.
Yeah, there's so many stories to tell still. Even with the covers, some of which we showed you, we all got super stoked when Chad Harden's cover came in because it simply tells a story that, like, it's so evocative. We can tell a story based just on that cover. Look at it.
We could so rip that guy off his cover, and I'm like, I am stealing a half dozen ideas from this. He's got frogs on little motorcycles and so much crazy stuff going on in his work. But that's the beauty of too. Like we have these covers we by these illustrators, and they're bringing what they see into it, you know. And every time we get one of these, it's like, oh yeah, wow, we can do that, you know. And I think that's also the beauty of science fiction and something that is not so established is that these creators can go in and create parts of these worlds and you know and really make it their own. So it's really just an exciting book for a whole different a lot of levels, different levels, you know.
I agree.
It
100%,
seems like you guys are having
100%
fun.
well said.
We are having fun. We've been drinking all day though, so Mike, I don't know if that matters, but we've been heavy drinking that you know, basting
Better
it.
for the show, honestly.
Yeah, there you go. Wow, yeah.
Yeah, we figured after 3 decades of drinking, we might as well like do a little work together.
Maybe this is like maybe this is our detoxing is
Yeah,
the
right.
actual book. The Deadly Trio is detoxing right now. That's what the DT stands for. The Deadly Trio and Deadly Trio detox.
True story.
Good.
All right. Well, to close us out, I'd love to go around the room, as it were, and just ask, you know, your favorite part of working on this project, whether it's the actual characters, the book, the camaraderie, what have you. What was your favorite part thus far? No, hoping that this will obviously continue.
Ladies first. Ladies first.
Well, I mean, I loved everything about working on the book, but I gotta say, I am an artist before I'm a writer. So my favorite part personally was getting to do one of the covers on it because that means I get to draw. And if I'm drawing, I'm happy.
Makes
yeah,
sense.
I think for me, getting to finally do something with my buddies, you know,
Yeah.
you know, a person's life goes by quick, and I just hated the idea that I would be like 20 years from now and I still haven't done something like this with my buddies. So I'm really happy I'm doing it now and I don't have to sit there and look back. I don't like looking back. I think you guys know that. I don't like looking back too much. Everything's about forward. I didn't want to look back and go, why didn't I do this earlier? So I think that was the best part for me is I got to kind of check this off on the list. Now we get to build on it. But I wanted to check that off. I have like a bunch of things I wanted, the little things. Look, Amanda knows this. I got a Harvey Kurtzman little Annie Fanny story that I just won in an auction. I've been trying to get a story, one of those stories for like 30 years. So, so this is like two things I checked off. But I think that for me is a big part.
His answer is like a million times better than my answer.
Oh, yeah. Well, you're
No,
pretty.
no judgments here. We're not making a
Man is a lot
comparison
funnier,
chart.
so, you know.
Yeah, mine was a chance of being in. Am I muted?
No.
Oh, we
No,
hear
yeah,
you.
I
okay,
can
so
hear you.
mute popped up. No, mine was being inspired by them, especially with Jimmy starting it, and then seeing Brian's character designs come through with his character, and then it just propelled me to take a chance on a alien that I've never written anything like that of a different world or a different universe, or a different type of humanoid character, and it was great just coming up with that, and I started learning about like I said the color spectrum and kaleidoscopes and how they're made and how it works and all and looking at mood rocks and how the hell mood rocks work and things like that. So it was to be honest, it was a lot of fun to design such a character to again something that I never without them I never would have even thought about. So pretty
And,
great.
and for me, I build on what Jimmy said, just the opportunity for camaraderie. It's a great excuse for us to keep each other in each other's lives. I know that everyone here that I'm talking to tonight has definitely played an important part of my life and my career in comics. If only, that we get on the phone every once in a while and say, hey, what do you think this? Hey, what do you think that? And the idea that, we could be very consistently talking is exciting. And as corny as it sounds, I'm also a process guy. So I love the creative expression of putting a project together and getting it out in a timely fashion, and then working in concert with everybody to that end. It reminds me of being on a movie set where there's just this required synchronicity, and I love that stuff. And I love problem solving, and I love doing problem solving with friends. It's like fantastic. At the end, it feels like a job well done. So yeah, just camaraderie, because sometimes, look, this is a very solitary business. I think we all know that. At times, sometimes you have no choice except to face the desk and the computer alone. I'm doing that. I'm actually beginning today. I started writing our 2026 stuff, and you start with a blank slate, and it's like, okay, we're starting somewhere. It's going to warm up after a while, but right now it's starting where it's starting. And in a collaboration, you always have someone picking you up. It's like there's no down. It's always up. So that part I think I enjoyed, continue to enjoy the most.
100%. 100%.
Okay, we're back. I mean, what a pleasure to host these folks, these friends that have been working in the industry for 30 plus years, now coming together, doing this Kickstarter. It was just so much fun to watch them and hear them go back and forth. The project is great. It has all of these covers, alternative covers that you can purchase. And, anytime Jimmy is putting together a project, and this goes for Brian and Billy and Amanda as well, they do it professionally. It's already done. So you're going to get it soon after it's done campaigning, which is by the end of December. So go out to Kickstarter, look up the Deadly Trio, back it, do what you need to do. You want to get this comic, and that'll do it. So thank you to the super team for coming on the show. Thank you all you out there for listening, for viewing, for rating, reviewing, subscribing, doing all the things that support the Dollar Bin Bandits. We are very appreciative of it, and we'll see you on Friday